Well, hello and welcome to the first in a new live streaming show by yours truly, as the wonderful library music from hell fires off in the background. I have no idea how the next hour or so is going to go. It's probably going to be about 10 minutes, but as long as we're working and we're streaming and you can see us, kind of give us a wave in the chat. And I am super, super proud to have Mark Gardner, the Acid Clown, Pierrot The Acid Clown, in the studio with us to say hello, and we can find out everything about his life, the universe, everything, and massive bass bins. Welcome.
You don't want to find out about my life. You really, really don't. It's not glamorous. Clown life is not all it's cracked up to be.
I'll put the jazz back on then. So we have a horn and some jazz, and it's all good. There isn't really a structure to this at all, so it's really kind of filling in a gap on Sunday because a load of streamers kind of dropped out, so there's a little bit of time, and I thought we'd fill a gap. And I came to realise that I knew very, very little about you. I mean, from my side, I guess I was looking around on Facebook for music stuff, and this was before I was doing Sonic State, I think, but I was just getting back into music on a bit more of a kind of full-time basis. And I vaguely remember coming across your page, and being just a little bit scared. And it was you, a picture of you on stage. And I think there was a video of you and what must have been Oliver Gold in a car with Amy on the way somewhere to a gig. Really old video. And it was a bit weird. I was, well, this is kind of weird, but in a good way. And it was enough to go, this is quite interesting. And then I think from the back of that, I found the URL, which is the show, obviously, that you're doing, which is Unsigned Review Live, right?
Yes,
so come along with your own tunes and put that on and you review them and stuff. It's a really, really, really good thing. A very community-led, brilliant thing for the industry. And I found that. And
you got Oliver Gould to thank for that. Honestly, it was his idea. We'll get into this
really?
in a bit.
Well, that'd be interesting. So I mean, I came in after it was all formed, and we were kind of just got swept up in the whole thing, really, and wanted and sort of started talking to you, wanted to get to know you a bit better. But I have no clue of their history, really, and I'm sure a lot of other people haven't. So from a tiny little acid baby to the acid clown we see now, how did that happen?
Oh, you want the entire story from way back when?
Yeah, why not?
Okay, well, I was about 14 and I wanted to get into making music, and so I decided to start on the drums. And I realized after about a month that my coordination was never going to get there. So I picked up a bass. Not this bass, this is Amy's bass. I'm teaching her bass at the moment.
Oh, cool.
And then learned that for a couple of years.
Awesome.
And then moved up to guitar when I was about 18, I think. And wanted to be in bands my entire life, and it never really happened. And so I thought, well, fuck it, I'll have a go at DJing at about 21. So did that for about 9 years. Used to run a night actually in Bristol called Excessive. We ran for 4 years. We did 20 parties. We spent £38,000.
What?
Yeah, on 20 parties. I worked it out after we finished it all. I was like, Jesus Christ, that's a hell of a lot of money. But the thing is, you only need half of that cash. Yeah, right. You only need half of that cash to actually put the night on. You just need your deposits. And then you shit your pants throughout the first 3 hours of the night.
Got you.
Whether you can actually pay them off or not. Thankfully, there was only one party where I couldn't ever pay anyone. But yeah, so I started DJing at 21. Yeah. And then moved on to production at 30 when the arse fell out of the clubbing scene in Bristol.
Right. And when was that? That was kind of when the clubbing scene finished completely, right?
Yeah, about 2005. Dubstep entered the arena, ruined everything. Yeah. And like before that, you were tripping over techno parties every weekend. There was either like three parties to go to, and then like 2 nights, something at Trinity, something at Lakota, or something at the Maze. And you literally were tripping over. And suddenly the crowds just dwindled.
Wow. Where did they go?
Yeah, exactly. Where the hell did they go? I remember chatting to DJ Blah, who was a homegrown resident at Lakota, and like, where are they all? And it's like, yeah, I know. What do they know that we don't, And I guess it was just them growing up.
Yeah, I guess it's difficult, isn't it? Out of interest then, what would it cost to hire the Lakota back then on a Friday to do a club night?
It was about £700, £900, something like that.
Right. Okay. So it's not insignificant. And
No. Well, like the whole night was costing me about £3,000 to put on. So you only actually need £1.50. If you've got two or three people that are kind of in it with you as well, you can kind of swallow that load, you know.
Yeah, it's hand to mouth though, isn't it? As soon as it starts dropping off, presume it takes a while to get things all running and to get a kind of vibe going and everyone to know about it. Wow.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you thought, sod that, I'm going to set up a massive beast full of flashing lights and synths and doorless jam my way into the history.
Yes, and that was it. So I'm kind of late to the game as far as I'm concerned, you know. Like a lot of people have been doing this a lot longer than I have, kind of thing.
Really?
Yeah,
I just missed it. I've come up. I don't talk about me because it's all about you. But I've come up from a studio environment, making records, tunes and stuff, and the live environment has not really been kit. You know, I mean, live environment kit-wise is Chemical Brothers to me. You know, which is probably just a press play thing, but ultimately it's like a big type setup. So you have a big setup, right, which is amazing, but I don't see that many people going out with that kind of stuff. You know, back in the day, it would be like a Damsky, I suppose, and his one keyboard on stage.
Well, you had to back in the day because computers weren't amazing, you know. But the only reason I do it is because I find hardware really frustrating.
Right,
like really frustrating. This was my first groove box. She had a 555 before that, but she broke, right. So I had to then get the Electribe. And honestly, this changed my world. It did. Drums, synth lines, FX, all in one box. You know, it's literally the building blocks for tracks, and it's also an essential for playing live. I see a lot of deluge and stuff these days.
Nothing wrong with a deluge.
No, nothing wrong with a deluge at all. But is it as hands-on as the Electribe is?
Probably not.
No, see, this is my problem.
Have a fight, couldn't we?
Yeah, do it.
Probably not. I don't know. It's different, isn't it? I mean, there's not so much twisty stuff going on. It's more modern. It probably does a lot more stuff, right? But
and how much did you pay for it? Or how much are they retail at?
£700 or £800 I think now, aren't they? You know, so it's
250.
250.
250.
Wow.
I actually paid £150 for my original Electribe, but literally 250 is all the mark. I know, right? And this is just hands on. And
you're saying that you're using that now. You're not saying back in the day this is what I used. You're saying this is the basis of my.
Well,
obviously there's a lot more going on there, but you'd say go and get one of these if you were telling someone how to get into it.
Oh, see now, no, I wouldn't. Yeah, see nowadays, if you're getting into it, there is better kit around there. I just love the hands-on feeling of this. And a lot of people, because they never played in bands when they were younger, and they've never done the live thing, so it's just about sequencing it. You know, it's all about sequencing the track. Like
I was just going to say, you're right. There's nothing like that around. I think I've seen you moaning every now and then online about how they've not really replaced it with anything new. And you're right. There's nothing with a whole bunch of knobs. The closest you get to that stuff is completely different. It's modular, I guess, where you just build your own thing. But it's horrendously expensive. There's nothing like that. It's more complicated.
250.
Yeah, it is nice, isn't it? What about the red one? Are they any good?
Yeah, I got the red one as well. At the moment, I'm only using it for snares, though.
Oh, of course.
The whole box is just used for snares. But it's the live. It's the live element of it. Like you press this thing and it will send whatever hits you got off at different arpeggiator speeds. So like it's instant, it's hands-on. And then when you couple it up with like the res or something from up here, you're in the moment of it, you know, and that's what appeals to me more because of my live, you know, started this at 14.
Yeah, totally.
You know, and I see these two as the same thing but just in different areas, you know, whereas I don't view the deluge as an instrument.
It's not cut from the same cloth.
No, you know, it's not meant to be played live if you get one.
So you've now decided that the club scene's fallen apart a little bit, so you're going to go out and you're going to play live, and to play live you're going to start off with one of those build it all up. How long ago was that? I mean, between then and now obviously things have really kind of transcended, right?
It was about 2005 that I started buying pieces of kit, and literally I spent till 2017 in my bedroom perfecting.
Whoa.
Yeah,
That's,
literally.
actually, that's pretty much Massive Attack, wasn't it? No one ever knew about them until they came out of their bedrooms and then exploded. And they'd been around for like 10 years just getting stoned and making music, and then suddenly it exploded. So it's a Bristol thing, right?
Well, I didn't want to hit the scene with only one set and have to play that set over and over and over again. I could have done that in Ableton, no problem. Press run, go, but I wanted to have like a whole stock worth of sets, so that like if somebody said, can you do this kind of set, it's like, yes I can. Can you play a bit slower? Yes I can. Can you play a bit harder? Yes I can. Can you play a bit more techno? Of course. I wanted to have it all backed up. And literally as soon as I got this, and I say I love it, but it's virtual analog, the synth engine inside sounds absolutely horrendously horrible. And you can't swap out the samples in the drums, so they're ridiculously limited. I shouldn't love this box. Nobody should love this box. It's bloody horrible, but it's got so much playability that it now spits out MIDI to things,
Right.
And that's the next thing. I moved up from this, It's like, okay, so this is okay. It's good as a brain as a sequencer, but I'm going to need a sampler. I'm going to need some synths. I'm going to need some FX, and then suddenly you're looking at
this wonderful beastly monster. Awesome. So we needn't dwell too much on the whole history of the whole thing, but you basically practiced, built your sets up, started to go out live, built up a big following, started the clown stuff, kind of got hit by COVID right as it was going to get even bigger. And that's kind of how you've got there. That's pretty amazing. Really astonishing the way it's come.
Well, it's a pretty grim story as to why I released my first video. I'm not going to go into too many details, but I finished with my girlfriend at the time. I was in a horrific place. So I turned to music, and literally like a week after we split up, I released my first video to the world, and literally everyone was like, that's really good. You should do more. I'm like, okay, maybe I will then. And like I say, I'd already got like 6 sets in backup. So it's like, right, people like it. Let's continue with it. Literally, I posted that video. It went well. It's not stopped going well since. It's insane.
Wow. And so that gave you what, the confidence, I guess, to kick it up to the next level? Because it must be kind of hard sitting in your bedroom effectively making tracks for a long, long time with no one judging you. You know what I mean?
And you've got your friends to do it for you, but they're like, good track.
It's not quite the same, yeah. That feeling when the A&R guy walks in and you play the tune and you hear it in a completely different light to the last 3 days' work. You're kind of like, well, maybe that snare is wrong, and it's all, totally different. Well, full marks for getting it together. So how did you get the video together? Was it you and some mates? Or?
No, literally just me in my bedroom. Wow. Literally, I was standing here. The beast was a lot smaller at the time, and just back in those days, I was recording the video and recording the audio separately and putting the two together because I didn't even have a smartphone.
Wow. Okay.
4 years ago, I was so anti-Facebook, so anti. Like I'm a completely different person now. This is my office.
Right. Exactly. You're anti it, but it's kind of the devil, right?
Yeah, it's a means to an end, Finally, like everyone's saying, "Oh, get off of Facebook, get off of Facebook." It's like, well, where can you put your promo that's going to hit as many people or any people the same way Facebook does?
So, what would you say to somebody now who is coming out of school, 16, 17, 18, 19, wants to do this, wants to doorless effectively go out and get on with it? What would you do? Oh, really? Back to the old door then, right?
Yeah. Like, right, if I could take all this to the stage like this and just fucking go, I'm ready to play.
Yeah.
Not have to spend 2 hours trying to get this all the St. Paul's Carnival. I don't know what I did to the MIDI routing or the MIDI setup, but the TB would not fire. TB would not have anything. There was no control over the cutoff or anything, which I do for the AMX. And the System 1M refused to take MIDI. So halfway through the set, I'm fucking pulling cables out, trying to put them in, and it's like, man, I'm making my life so hard. But no, seriously, it's a workflow thing. It literally is a workflow thing. If you want to go hardware, go hardware. It's fun, really, really fun. And the new Akai's, the Force, the One, they look really, really juicy.
I mean, it's cheaper as well, isn't it? So,
yeah.
I guess up to a certain point, obviously you're not going to put together something like you've got behind you, but those Macs are really kind of a big investment. and they are awesome, but you are kind of, I don't know, you're triggering samples and loops and stuff. It's very easy to make something that sounds fairly generic, but pretty good, pretty impressive. Do you know what I mean? So, so you're saying you've come full circle now. So, or are you just going to carry on down the beast route? Or, I mean, where are you going? Maybe that's a conversation for a bit later. But would you really say to someone, don't bother, get a laptop?
It's just easier. It literally is just easier. If you've got any laptop that's strong enough to be able to run your software and not going to give you any glitches, it's just easier. It really is just easier. At the moment, I'm at a stage where I want to track my stuff to the Mac so that I can polish a little bit better for releases and stuff. So yeah, full circle, full circle.
Wow. Okay, right, I've got a pop quiz for you.
Go.
Right, but the thing is, I guess people in the chat room can enter as well, so you've got to promise not to look at the chat room. We'd liven it up. Let's see. Hold on, find a decent one. All right, this is apparently an easy one. Which multi-platinum selling artist topped the singles chart in 2011 with her song Someone Like You? Amy, looking at Amy there. Amy will know this.
She's got a puzzled look on her face.
I have to say, I didn't get it, but then I've got the answers. All right, think of a massive artist, right? Multi-platinum selling artist, very, very top artist. Topped the singles chart in 2011 with her song Someone Like You.
Adele.
Yes, spot on. Well done, Mark. Excellent. I didn't even see your lips move. All right, so we'll do 5. Madness achieved 2 top 10 hits with the word house in the title. One was Our House. What was the other?
Welcome to House of Fun.
Yep, 3
Very
more.
good, Mark. You are just exploding these now. All right, let's get let's see if I can. Oh, okay. What do the letters P and J stand for in singer PJ Harvey's name?
Isn't it Polly something?
Yes, it is.
It's Polly something, but I don't know what the J is.
Jane?
It is. I can't remember myself. Hang on. I've got
Give him a minute. Give him a minute.
Polly Japonica.
You're very, very close, Amy. Is no one getting these in the chat? Oh, hang on a second.
Yeah, we got an
Scroll
answer of Pink
It's
Floyd.
not Jane, but it's very, very close, Callum Rogers.
Joe?
Jean?
Yes, it's Jean.
Polly Jean is not my lover.
Let me find one that you might not get. Who reached number 1 in 1992 with Sleeping Satellite?
Fuck knows.
I did.
No, that's not right. No, it was Tamsin Archer. Oh, yeah, Wagyu got it. Excellent. All right, and I'll give you one more. I've got a couple more of these later, but my daughter, who's 9, has done you some questions, which are really good. But you kind of have to be able to read her mind. Come on to that. She's credited you with a kind of mind-reading capabilities. Name both the members of the Pet Shop Boys.
Stephen Terry.
East and West.
There's got to be someone in the chat room. Someone's alleging you may be pissed, Amy.
They might not be wrong.
Phil and Grant? No. I'm sure we're probably running on a bit of a delay here. It's Neil Tennant and Chris Lowe.
Yeah,
Neil Tennant. Chris had got that.
Yeah, Stevie Cresshead got that, which is a name I haven't seen for a long while as well, actually. So it's good to see this around.
Cool. Right. So, PJ and Duncan. I've worked with PJ and Duncan.
Yes.
Oh my God.
That's a little known fact that a lot of people don't know about him as well.
Yeah, bizarrely, when you get a name for working with pop bands, lots of other people pop out the woodwork and say, can you work with me? 2 of whom happen to be those guys who are lovely people. Not Neil Tennant and Chris Lowe, but yeah, PJ and Duncan.
What Amy wants to know what parts you had on that track.
On Stay Another Day, there's a lot of singing and pretty much some of the words and all the tune, I guess. There's 3 of us. 3 of us worked together in a day to produce that thing. Literally, we only met in the morning, and we had 10 days to write 10 tracks for an album, and that was the end of the first day. We walked out with that. We didn't quite realise what we had.
No,
we demoed it from beginning to end, a bit like you were doing yesterday with a tune. I just demoed it, put the vocals on, rough demo, sent it over to the producers, and yeah, it was good. We wrote about 7 out of 10 of them ended up on the album. It was a really good 10 days work.
Yeah.
obviously for more reasons than just that. But it was really bright sunshine. Everything was cool. So yeah, really good, really good. Anyway, it's not about me,
But
nor Amy.
let me just tell you one more thing. When my hamster died, I played that song at his funeral. So it's very close to my heart.
Oh, that's really touching. I can't find the right button for that. Yeah, that'll do.
Okay. You can go back to Mark now.
Oh, I had music for the questions as well. This was going to be the background to the questions, but never mind. Right,
Next.
back to Mark. So that's before to now. What's happening now? What is the plot then? I mean, I mentioned URL. What is the plan at the moment?
The plan at the moment is get to play some gigs. I want to be on stage. I haven't been on stage for over a year now. This is crippling me, literally. Like, as soon as lockdown hit, the colour just drained out of me. I knew I wasn't going to write anything. I know there was no need to write anything because I'm not going to be on a stage. So at the moment, my ultimate goddamn goal is just to play in front of some sweaty ravers. However, the URL is doing amazingly. It really, really is. It's a worldwide following of people who want to put their tracks in each week, who want to get better, who want to see, each other grow and move on. It's great when somebody who's not been writing for a long time puts in a track and it's really good, and we're like, you are getting better, sir. That's what I like about the URL. And Clownfest. I'd really like to get Clownfest into an actual field, and actually, doing the online stuff is great because the community is growing and there's more people that want to play each time we do this. But I want to get into a field. Dom, get me into a field.
I can do my best. I mean, is that likely, do you think? I mean, I know a bit of what's going on. I mean, the big tours do seem to be being booked now for next year. Yeah. I mean, the kind of huge, I know a couple of promoters, but like the proper massive, get the police back together promoters or whoever the big tours are, and they shut everything down and weren't even looking at doing anything before 2022. Yeah. Which meant that a lot of the venues were shutting down. A lot of that was basically just because of the insurance. They couldn't get insured to fail to get it. Now, I don't know if that trickles down to some of the smaller clubs like that, but I mean, when realistically do you think that might even be an option? Because I can't see it happening for a year maybe, but I don't know. It's just me.
Wow, I've actually got gigs booked at a festival for this year.
Oh, brilliant!
Yeah,
wow! You heard it here.
Gigs are starting to come back in, and like you say, the big boys are starting to get, the Dave the Drummers, the Marky G's, the Chris Liberators. They're starting to get working again. But I think the people that are going to book me are not kind of the people that are going to book them, because they're a little bit higher status than me.
Okay.
So I'm in kind of smaller clubs at the moment, which is, I like, smaller clubs anyway. Mm-hmm. But I think it's going to take a little while longer for those people to have the confidence to want to put a night on again. I wouldn't want to put a night on in this current climate at all. So yeah, apparently I'm at Landed Festival at the end of July.
Oh, brilliant.
So, there is scope for it this year, but I don't think I'll be getting off this island this year.
That's fair enough. Where's Landed Festival?
It's in Wales, I think.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't have transport there at the moment. So anybody who wants to give me a lift to Wales, please let me know.
I'm sure there's going to be someone. Get a free time at a festival for a couple of days. That'd be awesome.
3-day festival. So.
Yeah. I mean, and for Clownfest, I mean, realistically, you need quite a few months up front, right, to get something like that organised.
Well, you say that. I reckon given a couple of weeks, I could probably slap something together. But no, you would want, like, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it next year. I'm not going to risk it this year. It's just, and it'll probably be, a small, intimate, under 500 people festival, just to see how it works out, just to see how it goes. But there is option to do it in Malta fairly soon.
You can't get to Wales, though. Let's get this into perspective a little bit.
Tell me about it. But
someone can give us a lift to Malta.
Yeah. But somebody in Malta said, look, we have venues, we have fields, and, we would like to welcome you and Clownfest over. It's just like, oh, Jesus Christ. But I'd like to get one done in this country first before we even look at, so it's all moving. We just need to open up a little bit more.
Tell us about Clownfest as well. I don't know if we're preaching to the converted and whether everyone watching at the moment is probably fully aware, but I'm kind of hoping a few people will pop in from the Sonic State side and watch this after we broadcast and everything. So it'd be quite good just to give a beginner's guide to Mark Gardner's Clownfest and the Acid Clown thing?
Yeah, literally as lockdown hit, and again the color drained from my face, and I knew I wasn't going to produce any music. It's like, what the hell am I going to do? We're going to be here for like 2 years, easy, you know. So sitting around, I'm like, well, I've got loads of artists. Why, you know, they're all put into the URL. You know, why don't I get them all into one place? And I was noticing with streams as well, they do hour longs. Now hour longs is fine, but you get a little bit bored and you drift off and you lose people. All right, so let's make these sets shorter so that you've only got, you know, 20 minutes to the next set. Keep it banging, keep it, you know, as quick as possible so that nobody's getting bored. So that was where Clownfest came from. It was kind of a selfish thing because I knew I wasn't going to make any music. So what the hell am I going to do in this time? You know, I've got to do this productively, and I've got all these people who are making music. Jesus Christ, let's just show, you know, put it in a festival format.
I mean, I think that 20-minute set thing is genius, actually, because I get bored of live streams. I mean, even DJs were taking the mickey out of DJs doing live streams. It was like the pros were like going, and everyone's doing a live stream, and then, you know, it just got terrible. So actually having a whole bunch of different people who've got to do something in 20 minutes, which is really tight, but just long enough to make a difference, is epic, actually, and you never get bored, and you can drift in and out during the day or whatever. And it was just so entertaining. And honestly, I was around for the first Clownfest because I remember talking about it before it came on. But even before then, the quality of the music and the stuff that's coming through the URL into Clownfest, there was like a critical moment, I don't know, probably about 6 months before Clownfest, 3 months before, when suddenly everything just kicked into gear. And there was, like, you know, on a typical URL night, which is basically, again, for people who haven't been following, send in your track and everyone reviews it, and everyone's generally pretty positive, or not negative, generally constructive rather than you know, dissing it.
Yeah,
and
that's important. That is important.
It's the key to it. So, and you would listen to tracks coming in and people improving, and suddenly it hit this thing where you're thinking, wow, actually, you know, this is, I don't know if I can put another track in. Do you know what I mean? It's like it's got to a certain level, which came out in Clownfest basically. And I think the first and certainly the second Clownfest, when that kicked off, the quality of the acts was just, and the cross section of different types and talents and stuff was just amazing, really amazing. So, yeah, full marks. This isn't going to be a worship the acid clown thing all night, but full marks to you. Well done.
I've been a clubber for like a massive number of years, you know, so I've seen what clubbers want, you know, and I've been a promoter for a good number of years as well, so I kind of know that side of things too, and now I'm a producer, so I know that side of things. So it's very, very important to know each piece of the process and what these people are going to want and need within that to be able to facilitate it. And you are so right about how the music at the URL is just insanely good at the moment. I'm listening to tracks, I'm going, I don't even want to play live. You know, at Clownfest, I'm thinking, Jesus, the standard is just so massive these days, like so massive. Like I hope it doesn't put people off of putting in, because that's what we're there for. We're also there for the person who hasn't got quite the skills and stuff yet. So we're like, well, if you just do this, you know, cut those frequencies down, you know, do that, whatever, and hopefully we'll build your tracks up a bit. And that's what I like about the URL, community spirit. And just like you said, it's massively important to not be negative about it. You can hate something. You can hate something all you like, hate on it all you like, but don't say that shit and walk away.
No,
Tell me what you think is shit, you know? But the breakdown wasn't good, didn't come in at the right place, was my timing off, you know? All these things are helpful hints to producers to make things better. It's literally it.
I think that was quite a surprise to me, finding sort of music-based stuff on Facebook and stuff to join in, because I stepped away for a couple of years whilst I was working on other stuff, and I fully expected and found lots of really toxic, negative, you're rubbish, kind of basically jealous stuff. Yeah. Not geared at me. I wasn't even posting, but someone would post something and another bloke would say that's crap and blah blah blah. You know, completely pointless, because no one submit something for other people to hear on the basis that they know it's absolutely rubbish, you know, whether it's the first thing they've ever done or they've been at it for 50 years. It's just completely nonsensical. And there were a few places I found that were refreshing, almost like thought they were joking to start with, you know, because everyone was pretty positive. And I listened to something and it was genuinely awful, and everyone's going, yeah, keep it up. And I was like, actually, do you know what? And then someone would be saying, yeah, do you know what, that snare, it's a little bit loud, just turn it down. And suddenly you see these people evolve and actually get better. Because people who make music aren't used quite often to people telling them constructive feedback. Either their friends or family saying how great they are, or idiots on Facebook saying that they're terrible, but they ignore it because they know that it's just a toxic place to be. Really, really, really good. So I think that was another part of the reason that I kind of came across and got a bit more involved with the whole thing. So it was really cool. I have got some questions from my daughter.
Do it.
So I've got some music, I think, for my questions for my daughter. Some question music there. Right. Now you've got to remember that she's 9 years old, okay? What is my favourite milkshake?
Hers or mine?
Yeah. No, hers.
I've got a guess.
She wrote them down for me. Yeah. I said, look, can you come up with some questions for Mark? I'm going to give him a pop quiz. So she said, okay, yeah, I've got loads. Write these down. So she wants to know do you know what her favourite milkshake is? I'll give you a clue. I'm
going to say chocolate.
Oh, vanilla.
I would have never gone vanilla. Kids don't like vanilla.
Wrong. Okay, we'll try again. What's the name of my best friend?
Gemma.
No. Poppy.
I get the feeling I'm going to fail at all these questions.
This is a good one. What is my favourite animal? Hint, it changed yesterday.
What did you do yesterday?
Yeah, where were you yesterday?
It's not going to help, actually.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. I tell you, I'll give you a clue. You'd find it in a zoo. It's big and grey.
Oh, it's the elephant. No, it's the rhino.
You got one. It's the elephant. Okay, a couple more, because these are obviously, you're getting the hang of it now. What's my favourite TikTok dance?
Oh, see, Amy's the one to ask on this one. Death before TikTok. Death before TikTok.
She did say it's the only one she does know. She's only just come into TikTok.
I'm going to say the dab, because that's the only one I know.
It's called Savage Love. I don't even know what that one is.
No.
And the last one then, going back to the elephant, what is my pet elephant called?
Like, I'd call it Ellie, but no one knows. Did I get it right?
That is incredible.
I've think what's my
Ellie. Ellie the elephant.
Ellie the elephant, it has to be.
Wow. Incredible. Well, yeah, I can't beat that.
My powers of mind reading skill.
You did better at Dam's daughter's quiz than music.
That's because it's not about 90s metal. If it was about 90s metal, I might have a chance.
I did think about that. Put a picture of Deep Purple or something up there, see if you recognised it.
Oh, God, no.
All right. What I was going to ask is, are you okay to carry on? You're coping with all this?
Gotcha. Yeah.
A bit about the kind of way you work with all your kit, because it does apply to computers as well. It's all like almost like the arrangement. How, if you're coming into this and you want to build a dance track, and you're making an 8-minute long, 7-minute long tune, and you're looking and you're listening to other people's tunes, and you see the way the arrangements build in and drop in, and you're trying to apply that to your live kit, are you watching the audience? Have you got it laid out to start with? I mean, where does that where does the live bit fit in, and how do you make a really good arrangement in this kind of stuff?
Wish I could get the system in through what we're doing right now, because that would be the easiest way to tell you. But no, I do have on the EMX 8-bar patterns. 8-bar, yeah. So they run, and then it's up to you to make it different. And you said, do I have anything sketched out? So I've got these things sketched out, and some synth lines over here that spit MIDI and stuff. Right. Do I have it all sketched out? I've literally just got basics. But because I've been a clubber for so long, you know, when you hear a piece of music and you're like, right, I want it to drop now, or I want it to go up now. It's more like a feeling. There's nothing worse than when I'm over the other ass end of the kit and know that I need to drop the kick drum out because I'm feeling that that's what needs to happen next, and you miss it. You know, and then you're stuck in another loop. It's like I had the crowd back at that last one, you know, and I needed to do that because, like Lindsay says on the URL all the time, techno should be predictably perfect.
Yeah.
You know, you need to know that you're going to go down, you're going to go up, and most of these things, because you know tracks are 7 minutes long and there is a formula to them, you can feel when you need to go into it, you know, and that's kind of why I prefer live. You know, I in fact I actually started on Rebirth.
Okay.
Like you know, so many years ago I started on Rebirth, and it's pretty much the same sort of layout as this.
Yeah.
You know, you've got your hits, and then you've got your sequencer at the bottom. Your sequencer at the bottom for where you put them in. So learning to do it that way then lent it to doing it this way, and this way felt more fun and more creative, and so that's the reason why you know I went down that road.
So what does changing a kick drum or a pattern actually involve? Are all those things behind you running 16-bar patterns, and you're flicking the pattern here and the pattern there, and like a master kick drum fader somewhere? Or because obviously on Ableton I'd hit one button and they might all change to the next thing, but I mean that looks like you need quite a few hands to get to grips with all of that stuff.
Thankfully, Korg did me a favor here and does motion sequences. Basically, you can record a movement in. So there is some element of this box doing that kind of thing.
Right.
Oh, I've forgotten the question.
just how you're changing all the patterns and stuff.
In the
background. There's not a core central sequencer going on, is there? I don't think.
This one.
Oh, right. So that's driving everything. So they're not all running cycle.
No, this one runs time clock and spits MIDI to the that synth and this synth and that one. So it kind of runs the thing. But what I do is like patch number 1 on here, everything runs in 8s. Yeah, so I'll pick patch number 1 here, and it'll be the same as patch number 1 on here, 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 and here. And that's song 1. And then I've got, I don't know, like 18, 19 lines of synths and stuff that I can play within that. So one day I might lean on the 303s, and you know, track 4 might be very 303 heavy, and then the next day track 4 will be quite synth heavy because that's the way I want to go that time.
Right.
You know? I like having the freedom to be able to do what I want on stage. So in essence, yes, there are patterns created, but there's very little motion sequence going on. In fact, the only motion sequence I use is for the 303.
Right. So you could move to Ableton subtly, actually, couldn't you? So Ableton becomes that Korg, and you know, you could move there. I just had this vision of all these things firing 16-bar sequences, and you're just kind of changing one. So everything would. It's kind of one enormous song. Everything would have to be in the same key, and you know.
Yeah. Literally. So like patch 1 will be key E, and everything will be in that key, and then you move on to the next patch, and that might be in F or something, and all the machines are in F then. So I can then palette between a lot of them. Like, I'll have 3 303s playing in a synth, and then we'll take the 303s out and have 2 synths playing. You know. So it's always rolling and evolving. It's not ever going to be the same thing twice, although it's all based on the same sort of structure.
Right. I mean, I've got to be honest. For arrangements and stuff, I quite often go to Beatport, get the top 3, and just look at the way their arrangements work, count the bars, and then not copy the notes, just copy the lifts and the drops. You know, it's
very formulaic,
which is a bit sad, really. But it's one way of making it work, I guess. Yeah. So where'd you get your inspiration from? Apart from Amy, obviously.
Back in the day, I was mad on techno and acid techno, and my ultimate gods are the pranksters. I don't know if you know these two, Acid Head and Kite. They're from Wales, and literally, we went to a party. 2000, I think it was, and I saw them for the first time, and they were of course live on stage with all this, and they were making acid techno in front of me live, and it was just sounded fucking amazing. And then the next couple of days I go into a record shop and it's like, that's a record by them. Flip through, that's another record by them. And literally I went mental. I've got all their early stuff, like on all their labels. Now they're only a digital release, and I haven't bought much in a long time. That's because I moved over to this. But yeah, my inspiration for that is I want to make that sound, and I want to make it live.
Right.
So the Pranksters are massively influential to me. Yeah.
Are they still around? They're still going, or
I believe Steve Kite is doing something with, I can't remember his name, but Robo Sapiens, and I still think that Acid Ted is within the scene, still running the 3 Acid Test label, but again, it's all digital. So yeah, they are kind of still in the scene, but they're not writing as the Pranksters anymore.
Oh, nice. And where do you see the whole thing going? I mean, there's so many different genres now, and I know there always has been, but I mean, do you see COVID affecting this whole kind of thing, where what people want to listen to when they come out the other side? I mean, I kind of predicted there was going to be a rave culture that came up in the early days, because people would just want to ignore it and go out and have some fun. And that's would go on a lot more if there weren't so many fines, but I can kind of see that exploding a little bit more as people start coming out of it. It can be a little bit elitist, the whole scene, can't it? And I just think that the whole ethos of just go out and have a laugh and have a good time is massively on the comeback.
Yeah, absolutely. I just think.
So, I mean,
go on.
No, I was just going to say. So where do you see it going? I mean, because also acid techno, as it stands, is quite a narrow genre to a certain degree. I don't know. I suppose what I'm saying is I get the feeling that everything will become a little bit more cross-platform, if you like, so that you know, you won't have I'm going to an acid techno club. You'll be going to something that's a little bit more like Clownfest, actually, thinking about it, which wasn't actually the reason for saying that, but yeah, something a little bit more across the board. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think at the moment, as soon as people get let out, we're all just going to get twatted. So literally, you can wait.
And then after, forget it.
Yeah, like you can wait 3 months before we all come down off of that. We can drink again. So it's going to be pretty weird until the end of the year. But yeah, like that's the whole reason of Clownfest. The ethos is it's diverse. There's nothing worse than going to a club and. Nothing worse than going to a psytrance club, and it's the same cocking beats at the beginning of the bloody night as at the fucking end of the night. The only thing they've done is increased it by 10 BPM. It's like, what, over 8 hours? Jesus Christ, I want to cram as many acts as I can on that stage and give them as short as time as possible so that they have to pull out all their best tricks as quickly as possible to impress you. That's what I want. I want energy. Yeah. It's, George Lucas said of filming on the Star Wars, faster and more intense. All right, so if you're playing for Clownfest, faster and more intense, like just across the board, everybody. It's got to be pacey, it's got to be interesting, and you've got to give us all your tricks in a short amount of time.
Fair enough. I've got a story about Spielberg and George Lucas. I was employed to do these bizarre online promotions for film companies where they were dreaming up ways of promoting their films when they came out, and I was doing this crazy stuff for like Warner's. But one of the things was for Harrison Ford's Raiders of the Lost Ark 4, wasn't it, when that new one came out? I was in Cannes at the film festival when they were launching it, in a corner room in a hotel, and we were streaming Harrison Ford into a virtual world in Sony PlayStation called Sony Home, which doesn't exist anymore, but it's a bit like streaming it into something like a GTA 4 or something. And he was answering questions that were being tweeted into. I mean, it's the most. If you're an ad agency for films, these are the kind of things they come up with, and they go, "Oh, Tom, can you make that work?" And I was like, "Yeah, in a hotel in France." And so we did it. So I had a couple of cameras and a laptop and everything there, and they said, "Oh, and we've got Spielberg and George Lucas are going to come in and answer some questions too." And it suddenly dawned on me that I was there with my tin pot camera that I'd rented, in the corner of a hotel room with George Lucas and Steven Spielberg about to sit down in front of me, knowing what they're doing. I had no lights. I just pulled the curtain off, in the corner to do this internet stream. Anyway, so Steven Spielberg comes in and I was bitten more, and he sits down and he goes, "Oh, I need to see what it looked like." And the camera I had, although it was a high def camera, I had one of those flip outside, view, so you could flip it so you could see what you look like. And he goes, "Oof, that's that's way overexposed. And he grabbed my curtain that I'd had carefully arranged and he dragged it back across the window. So it went a bit darker, and I was like, "Oh, sorry, thanks. I'm more techie than filming, And he was really nice about it, So film that, and then George Lucas came in and he sat down and he goes, "Right, I want to see what I look like." It's way too dark, and he grabbed the curtain and he opened it all the way up to the other side, and he goes, "Oh, yeah, that's better." And I was like, "Okay." So I have actually filmed George Lucas and Steven Spielberg, and I do know they don't agree on the amount of exposure they need for their for their cameras.
And that's a good thingy for personal taste, music as well as a personal taste thing. What somebody likes, somebody isn't gonna like, and which makes opinions on thing almost mute,
So, which brings me probably to my last kind of thing. What about producing other people? What about labels? What about not you as an artist? Is that entering into the horizon at all, or is it let's just get my head down and be the clown?
At the moment, because I'm trying to get the Mac up together, and it's been just a nightmare trying to get my things tracked into Ableton. As soon as I can do that, actually, I'm using Logic now as well. But yeah, never seen it before. I did it for the first time today, and I was like, "What the hell is this?"
I can help you out. Don't worry.
Thank you very much. Lots of YouTube videos, I believe, are going to be in.
Yeah.
So, but until I can get that done, my problem is I focus on things, and if I'm focused on things, I'm going to do that, and I need to do that till it's finished. And it's very hard for me to take on other projects and things. There is talk about labels. I'm not too sure. I don't know if this current climate of music needs labels, though. I'm not 100% sure that is
a really good point. I mean, that is a question that I can't really answer. What's a label for? I mean, I know what labels used to be for, right? They used to be to front you the money, to either make the tune or to press the records to get them out there. And also the labels had so much clout that sometimes you couldn't get into the right shops back in the day in order to chart. Like when Woolworths used to be around, if you weren't playlisted on the Woolworths chart, you wouldn't be in the top 5 or top 10. You probably wouldn't even make the top 40, to be honest, back in the E17 days, which is crazy. So you needed the labels who'd say, "Well, you're going to take this new band, otherwise we won't give you this big band," type of thing.
Leverage.
I mean, exactly. I mean, and now it's playlist, right? You've got to be on a playlist in order to be cool and happening. But I don't know how does a label help?
And the streaming sites as well. Let's just touch on this for a minute. 0.0 penny of a penny per stream. That is an absolute joke. Everybody should be pulling their stuff off of stream sites this instant. Stop using Spotify. Stop using all those. Again, this is my own personal opinion, and like music is a personal preference. And you don't have to listen to me, all right? You don't have to listen to me. But I don't see the point in labels unless they're really going to offer you some. You can do it all through Bandcamp at the moment,
Yeah.
And like that's all coming to you instead of you having distributors and bits and pieces and stuff. And also, once you've released your track, if it's available to buy anywhere, you can't stream it.
Yeah, true. I mean, Spotify, I know there's lots of bad press. I know it's terrible. The mistake they made is they didn't charge enough. Obviously, that sounds really obvious, right? But it sounds to me, I mean, the point is they've never made a profit. So they're not making money, and the artists aren't making money, but they can't put the price up. So when they first went in to do the deal with all the labels, which is a really hard thing to do. Hello, I'm Billy Internet. Can I kind of take all your? Apple. I know Apple have done it, but we're going to do it better. Can I sign deals with all the major labels? And by the way, we're going to give you 50% of the royalties, and it's going to be 0.001. This is what our accountant has worked out will put us into profit. And the label said, "Yeah, that's great, but give us a bit more." That's when they set the price for a stream, and you can't go back on it. It's a bit like Apple setting 99 cents for an app when people were used to paying for software $39.99, $50, but they set that price and everyone's coped with it because they sell a lot more. But unfortunately with Spotify, they actually have a problem making money to survive. So they're now looking at podcasts and signing up major podcast players as a way of trying to get more subscribers to actually generate income. So I have a tiny bit of I feel a little bit sorry for Spotify. They made a huge mistake and they're now vilified for it, but it's kind of screwed everybody, them and us.
Yeah.
Although Bandcamp, as you say, have become the real kind of white knights, haven't they? So far,
Yeah.
recently, what they've been doing, it actually looks like, you know, that they do make a profit actually,
And
and
they
you can
care.
sell your stuff. And yeah, that's it. They care. You do
You know?
get the thing that Spotify could be selling lawnmowers, to be honest, but it's just, you know, it could be anything. They've just found a way of packaging and selling something like that. But I do feel sorry for the artists that have signed record deals in the past that didn't have digital rights because they didn't exist. So you sign a deal and you get your royalties, that have then either had to renegotiate, or there's a clause in the contract that says we can basically take what we want. And that, you know, I don't think there's much of an excuse for signing bad contracts these days. But if you sign a contract these days and then in 10 years time something else comes out, like the rights to the 3D version, then you know you should have full rights to that and proper negotiations. But yeah, it's not that simple. The only thing I do think, and I don't know if it makes any sense, is that I think I mentioned this before, if I stream your tune, and that's all I streamed, maybe I only listened to it 5 or 6 times in my month just because I wasn't using Spotify that much, then my subscription, or the portion of my subscription that goes to the artist, should go to you. It shouldn't get split, you know. And I think that, you know, that the big pot that then goes out based on plays is not fair, because I guarantee you get more money, because my portion, my £5 is going to be more than the £5 you'll ever make out of the big pool. You know, you may well make absolutely nothing if no one listens to you, but that's absolutely fine as well. You know, if no one listens to you, you don't deserve any money. So I think that's the only way I think that they could flip it around and go, okay, guys, look, we got the pricing wrong. We should have charged more, but look, let's be transparent about this. And it doesn't touch their bottom line at all. They'd still be getting the same amount of money in and putting it out. They're just distributing it in a different way. But anyway, what do I know?
So what do I know?
So labels, though, kind of good if they've got a lot of clout, good if they're trendy, good if they've got a good name because you're getting on the right playlist. Is that what I'm hearing?
Good if they've got a good community. You know, if you've got a bunch of people on a record label, and I know Terry at Boomtick does a fucking wonderful job. He rallies people, you know, and he really does his best to try and get these artists out to where they need to be. But the streams are just worth so little, you know, that you're getting like £3 every quarter, or you know, not even that. It's absolutely insane. So yeah, Bandcamp all the way. If you've got a good community and your community is willing to push you as well, because that's the most important thing. There's nothing worse than knowing a DJ and all he does is slap a fucking tune on your wall every 3 weeks. It's like, mate, again, which is one of the things with the Clown. It's like, if you're going to do this and you're going to be pushing a lifestyle, then these people need a window into your life as what you do as a Clown.
Right.
So now my life is like some sort of ridiculously bad OK magazine all over Facebook. You know? And I'm happy for it, you know. I'm happy.
It's not okay.
It's more like Razzle or something. I know where you're coming from.
But I mean, that's true. Even with the pop stuff, that people always buy into a lifestyle. That's what I've always believed. You know, people they want a part of you. That's why. Yeah. Well, to be honest, that's why the kind of 360 artist deals are being done at the other end of the scale, where they don't make enough money out of music anymore. So they'll sign the artist and, you know, potentially some of the management and the sponsorship deals that they get, or whatever that might be, because it's the only way to generate any revenue. Yeah. Okay, last question, I think, unless anything else comes up. And thank you everyone for watching. We're kind of trying to keep this to about an hour, but where can I find, and I know the answer is Bandcamp, but where can I find decent stuff to listen to? Because the one flip side of everyone making all these tunes, which is brilliant, is that there's no A&R involved anymore. And so if you used to find a good A&R man, or a good label, I guess, or whatever, at least there was a filter there. And so to a certain extent, playlists are that filter. But to be honest, I only know one guy that makes just brilliant playlists, and he's a guy that works for Universal. He's just left. Actually, I'll put it in the chat afterwards or underneath the video, because some of his playlists are public and they're right up my street. But I don't find that much, and it's really only if someone says to me, "Oh, have you heard this tune?" that it suddenly excites me, and I'm not getting my excitement out of new music because I'm not finding it. I don't know if you've got the answer to that one, but apart from URL, you know.
Oh, that's exactly what I was going to say. Right, what I used to like about going around to people's houses is they will put on their music. you know, and you'll get to hear what they are about, you know. Amy introduced me to the Dresden Dolls when we first met, and I'm like, man, that is amazingly good music. Just a drummer, just a pianist with a voice. Honestly, that stuff is amazing. So that used to be where I got my new music from. Now it's the URL. I mean, we're getting country, punk, grunge, you know, and all the other favorites, house, techno, gabba, you know, breakcore, you know, and that's the beauty of the URL. You don't know what's coming next. So it's Tony Robbins says there's 7 needs that a human has, and if something hits 3 of those needs, you're going to get addicted to it. Well, the URL gives you 5 or 6 of those, so bloody well tune in.
Wow, do you know the 7 needs? I need some of that.
Yeah, certainty, uncertainty. Oh, I did. It was about.
Wow. Well, don't worry. I'll put you right on the spot. But that sounds. I never heard of that. That's amazing.
Yeah. Tony Robbins is a motivational speaker, but he's right. If something gives you, you know, 3 things,
3 out of the 7,
then you're going to get addicted to it, you know. And if we can pull people in with a better attitude, you know, like you said, Facebook is a cesspool at the moment, and you know, and people are moaning about Facebook, and it's like, yeah, but you make Facebook. You're the one, you know, like every day I'll try and post something funny or amusing that will get people talking and, you know, interacting in a positive way, because negativity sucks and it's just all around us, you know?
Yeah. Awesome. Well, reality check at the end. I got 2 more questions for you. Name your 3 favorite pot noodles.
Okay. So chicken and mushroom is the don. Chicken,
Really?
Yeah, I don't eat any of the rest of them. On the other scale of things, the shin cups.
Shin cups?
Yeah, the shin cups. Okay. The proper oriental stuff, the shin cups. The shin cups are amazing, but don't go for the fiery ones. So in conclusion, chicken and mushroom pot noodle are the don. Don't the Bombay bad boy. Why? By the way, pot noodle sponsor me. Little sponsor me. So yeah, chicken and mushroom, a shin cup that isn't spicy, or a shin cup that is spicy. Those are my top 3.
Right, I'm off to that. And the best way to make a cup of tea?
Coffee.
Okay. All right.
Black and 2 sugars, nice and strong, please.
Nice one. All right. Well, thank you. Sammy. Thank you very much. What a day. That's really, really cool. I got some jazz music to hit us out with.
Dom, it's been a pleasure. I could probably go for another hour as well. So if you ever want to do this again, let me know.
That'd be lovely. Yeah. Well, we've got some other stuff to talk about, but as a first attempt, I think we've done all right. Thank you so much for coming on and talking about it. I've learned a lot, so it's really, really cool. Thanks to everyone in the chat room. We got quite some decent numbers and a few laughs out of the whole thing, so it's all good. And we'll catch you again. Maybe I'll do this next Sunday. Find someone else to interview. Well, probably I'll interview you again. We'll just do it.
Interview
Amy, you free next Sunday?
I'm very busy.
You said no.
All right. We'll leave it at that. Thanks, everybody. And we'll see you again soon. Take care. Bye now.